Welcome to the Postmodern Art Podcast, a podcast dedicated to giving artists who are wowing the world over the platform they deserve. I'm your host, Nathan Ragland, and avast ye hearties. For today, we shall be taking on one of the most notorious guests of all the seven seas. Today's guest is CapnInsanity, an outstanding artist and a wonderful VTuber who is very prone for arson. Lots and lots of arson. CapnInsanity is an outstanding artist that I have been dying for you guys to hear this conversation, considering the fact that I've had to re-record it due to audio issues with the previous one. But nevertheless, with both times, especially the one you guys are beginning today, you guys are going to be getting an outstanding conversation that I absolutely love, and I know you guys are going to love and enjoy as much as I did. If you enjoyed the conversation and love Capn, make sure you support her with all the links down in the description below. If you enjoy the podcast, maybe you should consider liking, sharing, subscribing, or follow whatever audio streaming platform you prefer. Maybe potentially leaving a 5-star review. It definitely helps. If you want to go a little bit further with that support, maybe you should consider checking out some of the incredible streetwear done by former artists at the merch shop at pmap.creator-spring.com. If you want to go even further with that support, if you do, I am surprised but greatly appreciate it. Maybe you should consider supporting the podcast by being a part of the Postmodern Art Podcast Patreon. There you can get early releases of the video version of the podcast, opportunities to ask guest questions, maybe even a potential ad read at the beginning if you are so generous. If you want to see some of the potential rewards you can get, consider checking out the Patreon at patreon.com/PMAP. But now, without further ado, please enjoy the Postmodern Art Podcast.
There we are. There we are.
I think this would be the first time we have had a guest have their branding alongside their
Hell yeah! Look at that! I'll throw some emotes in there too if you want. Crying.
At this point, this is essentially your half of the screen. You can litter it with whatever the hell you want.
Yay! Look at that. Hi.
Hello.
I can get my image slideshow too. We'll be over the whole shebang.
Oh goodness. I'm glad to hear that despite these times, you're still in amazing fucking spirits and good gremlin mode.
Oh, good. You know, you raised in the survival mode. You live by the survival mode. You fucking adapt. Can't stop, won't stop. Can somebody smell re-debut?
I think I smelled the fire that's burning in the background. That's what I'm smelling right now.
Oh, sorry. Those are the marshmallows. I brought them over. They're gone now.
So if the marshmallows are gone, what's still burning?
The spirit of which it was marshmallows.
Oh, goodness. So aside from all that chaos, how are you holding up?
I am doing quite swell. I'm getting my shit together. I am learning how to be who I am alone on my own. I got a great little network of people that I just kind of vibe with. It's going great. It's going great. Besides trash, you know?
Trash is trash. There's only so much you can control, right?
Yeah. The downside is I do have quite a tad bit of an internet issue that I've been trying to figure out. So if I do dip, it's because trash internet. I'm trying my hardest.
I would say keep in mind it might also be the same on my end. Like there are times where I might be a little laggy, or there are times where because Discord just absolutely loves me, and I think I warned you this last time, but Discord just absolutely loves me and wants to restart on me in the middle of an interview.
Oh, that's absolute worst. You know what? I wonder if it's an East Coast thing, because I have another person that also is having issues with Discord, and they're in North Carolina. So
I think just Discord just hates people. I think that's just the long and short of it.
Yeah, right. It got too big for its britches. They're like, we lost the original plot line. Where are we now?
We're in the middle of our filler episodes. How do we get back to the main plot?
All right. Alrighty, so part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Let's go! Jump in!
Part two. All right, Cap. Before we really get going, I must ask the icebreaker question of the podcast. Let's say you get to go to a deserted island on your own accord. It is just you alone with your thoughts. You get to sit back, breathe, relax a little bit. You probably are aware of that as a pirate. But but you get to bring one piece of media or one piece of art with you to help make sure you don't go completely insane on this island. If given this opportunity, what would that one piece be?
Ooh, okay. So, I had an answer if I like to do these scenarios, but you know what? As recent events, I'm gonna have to go with a singular playlist. I'm going to have to go with this one collaborative playlist from the Spotify. So I've been getting really into like I'm gonna say it again, collaborative playlist.
Ooh.
But with my homies, and I had one during a tough time, and they dump all of their favorite music, and it's like my squad's vibes. And like it makes me so happy. Even if it's music I don't really generally listen to, I know it's them. And so like I literally get to take them with me. So I probably would take that. If anything.
That is honestly incredible. I didn't realize that collaborative playlists were a thing. So that just like blows my mind already. Is there a just like little side tangent, is there a song that you listened to that was on that playlist that you didn't expect from any of your friends, but you fucking cannot get enough of it now?
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's gonna be a lot of songs. I'm sorry.
What's the first one that comes to your mind? Let's start with that. Just the first one. Blurt it out. No hesitation.
Bitch, that means I'm gonna have to remember song titles. I don't know song titles. I just know the song. Okay, now I'm gonna have to pull this shit up. And I have to scroll. Oh god.
I apologize. I thought it was a fun question.
So the song that started off the whole playlist was Bust Your Kneecaps, Johnny Don't Leave Me by Pamplemousse.
Okay.
And yeah, and so that brought me to be like, wow, this is like how all of us were feeling kind of during like whatever the shit I was going through, and prompted me to make that collaborative playlist. So that was like the first one that like I quite literally thought of. I just couldn't remember the
title. Okay. Hey, it's an interesting foundation more than anything else. But but nevertheless, that collaborative Spotify playlist, is that your answer? You're locking that in?
Yeah, I am locking that in. I gotta take the homies with me in spirit, because or I will actually lose my mind.
Well, you know where else you could probably take your homies to, and that would be the Postmodern Art Podcast. Welcome, everyone. I am your host, Nathan Ragland. Feel free to subscribe or follow whatever streaming platform you prefer. You can support the podcast on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/PMAP. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram at PostmodArtPod for future updates and guest announcements, including today's guest. She is a swashbuckling artist, one of the best artists on the Seven Seas, a pirate VTuber, and gifted gremlin. Welcome to the podcast, CapnInsanity!
It's your Insanity Captain for this evening!
Oh, God. I thought I was already in insanity, but fuck it, drive me further.
Are you going on the boat?
How are you doing?
I am doing swell after that little dip in my connection to you, sir. It's quite hard to connect from one world to another.
No joke. Well, speaking of, different worlds or whatnot, I appreciate you taking the time to be here and do this. I know I've already showered you with a bunch of praise before. We had a previous recording, kind of went to shit, for people do that know. But like, I know you are one of the most unique and incredible VTubers I've seen out there, and like your presentation is incredible, and I cannot wait to divulge a lot more into that. But before we really divulge into the Captain, I want to know more or less the person behind the Captain. I want to know the origin story. What got you interested in art in the first place?
So, let's see. Can I be consistent enough from the last recording to this recording? Probably not. Let's do it. Electric Boogaloo.
I was going to say, fuck consistency.
Fuck the consistency. So, what got me into art was literally having a creative outlet for my own person. Like, so this kind of delves into escapism and whatnot. When like you're kind of raised in like a kind of problematic household situation, for one thing or another, you kind of divulge into things that you can have, which is usually like movies, television, books, and whatnot. And the adventure fantasy, the freedom of it as well as being able to create that on my own, definitely kind of helps. It didn't really hit me until like my adulthood how much that helped me and how it just kind of propelled it forward.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just the progression of like, adding towards my childhood. But if we go to like legit, like actually taking it seriously, I took art seriously around 2015,
Okay.
2016. And that was because like I was actually having more like time and whatnot to divulge in such things. And my kid wanted some artwork and whatnot, so we sat down and painted, and I really liked how painting felt in my hands, like the brush and whatnot, and I just kind of went hardcore ever since then.
It's a good way to definitely go hardcore more than anything else. I want to go back just a little bit to kind of that escapism that you were touching on just for a little bit to with whatever your situation was. Is that part of the reason kind of why you lean towards more or less the captain, pirate persona more than anything else? Like, what is it about that persona in particular that kind of drew you to embracing it?
So, like with medias at the time, like you have to say, like this is like mid '90s, late '90s. So like you had stuff like Peter Pan. Well, Peter Pan's way older, but you know what I mean, like Hook,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, like you have all these like high adventure movies coming out. Jurassic Park, all that sort of
Waterworld.
things. Yes, exactly. Like you had all these like it's either minus the post-apocalyptic. But anyways, I digress. But like these high adventures of like somebody being more than themselves and having the freedom to do that regardless of their struggles is very appealing. It's very appealing to be free enough to do what you want. And when you're in a situation where you can't do what you want, you kind of create that for yourself, and that's what I kind of did. Like this character, this persona that you see before you has been around since 2005.
Oh
And
wow.
to put it in perspective, I graduated high school in 2010. So this was like during some hard times for me.
Okay.
um,
Okay. No, I mean,
so
I
yeah.
respect that more than anything else. Like, especially like having that kind of mentality with you for that long. Like, I can only imagine how relieving it must have felt to like truly embrace it at times.
Yeah, and that's what VTubing really kind of helped out with. Like before, it was just more like, oh, it's a side persona. I can draw this whenever I want, and I wasn't really attached to it because it was by default an extension of myself.
Mm-hmm.
But with VTubing, where you can actually not I wouldn't say become that because, like I said, it was an extension of myself. Um, it just more like gave me more room to explore what I wanted to be
Mm-hmm.
in the guise of fantasy. Like
Okay.
the truth is there, but there is a fantasy element to it.
Right. Right. That more or less helps with like the fantasy element. I imagine you can correct me if I'm wrong with this. More or less helps like truly embrace and like really like divulge yourself fully into this unique persona more than anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not putting the real world hardships onto something that I'm trying to explore, like more or less mentally. Like I am creating this world to basically discover myself at this point. Like this is new revelations for myself.
That's you know what? That's very
so
fair. That's very fair. I I also want to divulge into how art may have helped with that sort of discovering yourself. You said that you kind of really took it seriously in like 2015 or whatnot. What was it about it? Like, what aspect of art made you realize I need to go all in with this, or like what exactly clicked in your head to make you realize I need to go all in with this?
when so this is gonna get a little tricky
Okay.
because it's not just one answer. Like one, I wanted it was my way of I guess showing what's in my head
Mm-hmm.
on one hand, like yes, I can trip over my words, I can do wacky sounds and all that stuff, and some people can't understand me, but like if I put it like, hey, this is what it looks like, it kind of hits a little different. Even
Yeah.
even when it because I there was a stint where I did nothing but horror art because I did horror art as a way to express mental hardships.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way I can get into the mood to do that, and I did a lot of it, and it doesn't make sense, but yet it was terrifying, and I was able to express that.
I was gonna say you say it doesn't make sense, but like honestly, like when it comes to like mental stuff or whatnot, it's never gonna be an easy topic. Like for everyone that deals with a mental, struggle of one way or another is a struggle. It's not gonna be something comprehensive. It's not gonna be like all sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes it's gonna get a little dark and decrepit. It's gonna be a little rough to look at times, but that's
Yeah.
just the reality of it.
Exactly. And so like to be able to like fully like express with my hands and create, because it wasn't just painting or digital art. Like I was also crafting. I was trying to like build with my hands. My
Mm-hmm.
hands needed something to do or else I would just there'd just be too much going on.
That's fair enough, and that's why, if correct me if I'm wrong, that's like doing the stuff with your hands. That's why you actually started off being a traditional artist. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I wasn't able to get into really much digital until like I did have like a pad tablet and whatnot, which is a non-screen tablet, but I didn't really get into digital painting until like really hardcore like you see nowadays until I got a screen tablet because the disconnect I need to like connect hand to paper essentially. But I still do traditional art. It's nowadays it's just a little bit of a pain to set up if you know what
Yeah, I was
I
gonna say it's a little it's a bit of a pain to set up, and depending on what you're trying to use, it's a little pricey too. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh yeah, no. Never tell anybody that art is fucking cheap. They're straight up like from the quality of paints to the canvas. Oh my goodness. Even to like if say you're a traditional art streamer, the amounts of effort and equipment just to light that bitch properly so that the camera
Yes.
picks the colors correctly is such a hassle. Especially recently, I've been wanting to get more into blacklight painting, which I have been doing,
Mm-hmm.
and that is, if you want a really good blacklight stream, you gotta be like investing in some like DSLRs and like, oh, my poor little budget could not handle it. It's gonna be webcam busted for a little while.
Well, I mean that's why you take the photos afterwards. People could realize, oh, so that's what it was. It wasn't just a spider being slung upon a pasta or something like that.
It wasn't just a glowing orb where we couldn't see the colors.
No, there was actually something there. Holy crap!
Oh, who would have thought?
It
Oh man.
is there a particular piece that you can think of when it comes to at least like the traditional art that you were like the most proudest of?
So there is a couple. One was the one where it's an underwater cave with a
Mm-hmm.
treasure chest, and it was done using my absolute favorite color. The technical term would be phthalo turquoise,
Ooh.
but through the Matisse brand, it would be labeled as Southern Ocean Blue. And this is this really beautiful like warm turquoise that it's my favorite color ever. Um,
Actually, it's coral blue number.
Yeah, no, it's Carl Blue number 5. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm touching things again. How dare I touch things? Okay. I touched it. I like touching things. Anyways, so
But no. The one undersea cave with like the one color.
yes. So, like, I'm really proud of it because I was able to use basically the majority of that color and was able to create something that was just so immersive that I still have it hung up on my wall today. Like,
Beautiful.
it's one of my favorites. My other one would have to be when I was really full of anxiety and whatnot. It's just a collage of mouths and eyes and hands holding it together, which I've also shared that with you as
Right.
well. But like, yeah, that was made in a different medium that I wasn't really well versed in. But the
Really.
way how rough, but yet smooth and blended everything was, it's just I was like, I did that. I did that.
Yeah, I remember.
And
I remember the
yeah,
last time you showed it to me. The like it looks like just basically just a tornado of just like mouths and eyes and such, and like it's truly like creepy, but yet like it's hauntingly beautiful. I guess would be the best way to word it.
yeah, and going back to what I said about needing to be able to be in a certain mindset for horror art, I was definitely feeling a certain type of way.
I mean, I can totally get where you're coming from, especially with the results that you came from, or that developed from it. Now, like you said, like only within like the past couple of years, you've really gone a little bit more in with some of the digital art as well. Was there a particular reason why you decided to lean towards that as well with the traditional art? Or just, you know.
So when it came to digital painting, it was more like time and like material and just like it was just more time efficient to do more digital paintings, because as much as the process for traditional was really great, when I wanted to like whip something up and have an error that I have to refix, it would take just as much long to undo and refix, whereas digital I could be like done, which makes sketching really easily. Like my sketch game like increased very fast, matching the speed in which I was thinking of them, and it was just a lot more appealing. I still love the traditional process. Don't get me wrong, I would love to keep going at it, but where the hours of the day just line up a little bit better when it comes to digital, you know?
Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from.
Yeah. And so with the right brushes, I have come to a process to which it kind of replicates the same kind of feeling that painting traditionally would be like, because I do a one layer style half the time. So like I am still painting over. I'm still layering things on a single like layer. I should guess like sometimes I'll pull a couple of more extra in there if it's like a super condition, not like this illustrated, not like this beautiful body you see right before you. That took a lot more digital fuckery. So, but like digital painting, it's like it's yeah.
I need to use that term more often. Digital fuckery.
Oh my god, the group, the little family I have going on, they come up with so many creative words. I'm just like yes, give me words, give me that bitch ass, hoe ass, buttery fuckeriness, you know? Like, let's go.
So considering the two forms of painting that you do, is there one that you prefer over the other, or is it kind of one of those like the pros and cons of each one kind of equal themselves out?
Yeah, it is definitely the second one, because art is art, and as long as I can do what I need to do, I'm happy to do it. Everything's gonna come with its gripes, its frustrations, its annoyances, and whatnot. Where like digital goods, you can be like, ah, yes, I did it. Now we must, we can reproduce it. Whereas like traditional is more like, oh, we've made it, but now we have to use science and other stuff to properly light and photograph and edits to pure perfection. And so, like, you know, it comes and goes. It comes and goes.
Is it weird to me that you sound weirder when you try to sound normal than whenever you're in gremlin mode? Just saying. like I could just imagine, oh, we have to use the science to make sure that we do liberate this to normal. Meanwhile, I'm just used to hearing you being like arson.
Arson! Fire!
Not yet. Hey, put the flames away.
No.
Not yet.
I'm getting
There is a time. There will be a there.
Let me. I'm gonna burn. I'm gonna burn it. I'm gonna burn it. It's already here. It's already. I got the fire. I got the lighter. I got the matches. We got the cannons. We about to go. We going.
Let me speak. Let me speak.
Out there. You try to interrupt your captain. The captain. Fire!
Another thing that I did want to touch on is obviously like the style you've kind of captured more or less, like especially when it comes to like your painting and stuff like that. You seem to do a really good job getting like more or less a realistic vibe with whatever you're illustrating. Is there a reason why you would prefer like more of the realistic when it comes to like your full-on paintings compared to like more of like a cartoony style or something like that? Like, is there a reason why you lean towards more realism?
Fuck consistency.
Fair, good
For one.
start.
But like, a cartoony style definitely gives you more room to express the emotions and like the quirky gremlin ideas. Whereas a more like realistic approach definitely makes you think a little bit harder on how things are approached and looked in a 3D space.
Mm-hmm.
So I love, I would like to say it would be semi realism because I've been leaning towards more of like that book cover slash pinup, like very, very, let's take classic American illustrators and make it towards modern, like cartoony-ish, if that makes sense. I've
Yeah.
been really getting into those 20s, 30s, and 40s American illustrators, like Linedecker and like Norman Rockwell,
Yep.
and the other one would be Jill Elves Green.
I think I,
Oh no, that last
I,
name.
I think I know who you're talking about. Isn't she the one that did like the more plus size woman drawing, or is that someone else I'm thinking of?
No, they were like the leading for pinups. Like they did so many pinups.
Oh,
Like you see the style and you'd be like, "Yep, that's how it is.
fair enough.
That's how it is." I could definitely give you some references and definitely show you like what those look like. But like they did work for like a lot of advertisements and whatnot, and it's very storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even with the pulp covers and the book covers and whatnot, they're so out there. They're so like you can like I literally saw a cover where it was like a rabbit in space like eating a planet, and like astronauts were like, "Whoa, it's a rabbit!" And like like it's so out there, but it makes sense. It's definitely divulging what that looks like.
I don't know about making sense because I cannot think of the reason why a rabbit would want to consume a planet. But you know what? There are less things I need to question in society. Um, uh, but no, no, but it's incredible to know kind of more or less like that. I assume like those pinup artists and like the Norman Rockwell stuff like that. Is that like a major inspiration for kind of the art that you create more or less?
Currently, yeah. So like inspiration is interchangeable and it's ever growing. Like you
Right.
don't just say, "Hey, I've been inspired by this, and then I'm going to stick by this." And inspiration isn't just by like the role models and like the leading people and the masters and stuff like that. The inspirations could literally be your friend group. The
Yeah.
little pieces of yourself that, or I should say, my case, I take little bits of the people I love because I love them, because I appreciate them,
Mm-hmm.
and I add them to my creative process because that is who I am. That is who I am. Just taking bits that intrigue me and inspire me and add that to the process. So who you see now probably won't be who I am in like years later,
And you know what?
like my art style.
That's a good thing. That just means progress more than
Mm-hmm.
anything else. Like development, growth.
Exactly.
So, yeah. I mean, hey, if nothing else, like if it's at least around the same level as what you were doing right now, like it's gonna be incredible no matter what. I'll be upfront and honest with that right now, because
Aww.
like especially the model that I am seeing right now for those that are watching the video version, this absolutely stunning like pirate captain more than anything else. Like if it's even anywhere remotely close to the level of that alone, like it's gonna be fucking spectacular.
Oh, I put so much effort into this model when I made it. I was so hyped up. I was so excited to like join everybody and show what this can bring,
Mm-hmm.
who I can bring to the world of VTubers. And it's been rocky. It's been rocky, but like I feel like I've come to know more about myself than anything. I removed the physical face from the stream and
Mm-hmm.
focus merely on the personality of who I am, and I have flourished in ways that I think would shock people if people previously who hasn't seen me in years. They'd probably be like, "Whoa, who the fuck are you?"
Exactly. Wow, words are wonderful. I had it and then major brain fart.
Whatever. words.
I know, right?
Words are nice.
Like I said, words are wonderful. I need to make that T-shirt at some point. Anyways, no, I'm glad you actually brought up more or less like the streaming aspect, because that's one of the things I wanted to go into next. Like, you've been streaming on Twitch for actually a good bit longer than I even realized. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like you said yourself, like you used to be more or less an IRL streamer, like an art streamer, more or less when it comes to stuff. What exactly drew you to like streaming in the first place?
So, how I got started was actually quite a little bit after I started taking it serious, because at that point, I was trying to see if I could do YouTube edits, because I had a group of friends back then who were at my previous location, and they missed watching me draw and whatnot, because I used to do that a lot. And so I was trying to find a way to do that, and that was when creative on Twitch was an infant. It was an idea. It was a thought. It just started, more or less catching on. And so so I started doing those streams, because then I can actually connect with those friends. And the thing about having old friends is that when you're not locked in the facility, like work or school, you start to realize that those friends that you made connections with aren't really quite the friends that you really wanted or needed. Right. I should say needed at the time. And so they kind of fell off, and, they never came back, more or less over the years. But that's not an issue, but because it still put me on this path on actually finding people who do enjoy my company, and vice versa. Because the thing about the internet is that you're not forced to be in these situations. You're not forced to have these relationships. You can literally just get up and go, because that's the internet. And to know that the people that I am interacting, the people I'm friends with and having relationships with, that they genuinely do enjoy my company, as well as I genuinely do enjoy their company. And that's like the little special magic of the internet, is that ability to actually connect with your clan, your tribe, your peers, your like-minded individuals.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know a major clan or tribe or group of people that you've really become a full part of is more or less the VTubing community. When did you first hear about? 1 minute, sorry. Yeah, there we go. Okay. When did you first discover VTubing was a thing, and did you know immediately that the Captain persona was gonna be your VTuber persona, more or less? When did you decide to be part of that when it comes to streaming?
Oh wow. Okay, so that's gonna be a little bit tricky.
Okay.
So, I didn't join the VTuber experience until about December of last year. So still baby, still new, woo. But I did know of it, but that's the kind of thing about VTubing. It's either you know of it or you don't know of it, or you really know about it.
Yeah, that I think you've nailed it on the head, especially with
there's no, it's either you don't know it exists, or you've seen it on the horizon line, or you're so balls deep that you're gonna be called daddy, regardless.
I was gonna go with a little bit more of a simple scenario. It's either you have no idea what's going on, you heard that Pokimane did it you heard that Pokimane did it once, or you're a VTubing robot that grades on whether or not eggs are delicious or not. That's
exactly.
I will say the balls deep scenario is one of the most hilarious things ever said on this podcast.
I mean, it's not wrong though. It's either you hit the tip of the iceberg of it just a little bit, or then you end up on the side and be like, "You want to rate me as daddy?" On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you want to sit on my lap?
Man down. All right. I think I know my Twitter clip.
I mean, like I said, I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. So when did you decide to be balls deep in VTubing?
I would like to say mid-December.
Okay.
I was a December child. She made me a Capricorn. No, I'm kidding.
And that is so Capricorn energy.
Yeah, no. Fucking summer baby cancers. Hell yo. What?
I'll say
so,
Taurus for me.
Oh, the hug the Taurus.
Aww.
Anyways. So I was going through like a really rough moment, like the roughest in my dark place ever with everything that was going on. Of course, world status and personal status topped on top of each other. I had a little trip to the mental hospital to sort my shit out in November. But anyways, I digress. So I was actually checking up on some people that became VTubers. One of them was OK Peony.
Oh, okay.
And I was in her stream because I haven't seen her for so long, and she literally did her beautiful routine of, "Hey Cap, when are you joining the VTubers? When are you joining us?" And I'm like, I don't know. And then I thought about it more, and because I knew Melvin CRT and OK Peony, before VTubing and whatnot, and so with Peony kind of. Peony, we going down south again. Okay. Anyway, oh my god. She's gonna kick my ass. Anyway, but no, with basically her flirty invitation, I'm like, but what if I did? What if I did? And then it just kind of clicked with me. I didn't want to become anybody else but who I am. And if I had to do a character, it was definitely going to be the extension of who I already was. And I already had this. I didn't have to rebrand. I didn't have to change usernames and whatnot. I've always been CapnInsanity.
Okay.
So it was just kind of like 2 + 2 maybe does equal fish for me.
Well, if you think with that logic, fish is technically 4 letters, so technically you're not wrong when you say 2 + 2 = fish.
Exactly. See, someone gets it.
Goodness. Now, if you say 2 + 2 = 4 fish, then we might have some issues. Anyways, no. What was I gonna say? No, it's incredible to know that more or less it was something that was presented more or less by some good friends that were already basically in the community. I know Peony alone, I've had her on the podcast, and I think we can all agree she is a lovely little gremlin at times.
Oh my god, I love her so much. Oh my god.
Trust me, I've seen the interactions you two have had, especially recently on Twitter. Goodness.
Oh, you like it spicy, Post? You like it spicy?
I need to turn the AC in here.
Is it getting a little hot? Oh my god.
Anyways, I was gonna say you might want to be careful because the other person I was gonna also mention as well is the wonderful Melvin, and I know he probably would prefer it spicy as well.
Yeah, good boy.
I was gonna say you said you already knew him a little bit before you went into VTubing as well.
Oh yeah, we I've known him. Oh, what we got? 2017, 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was a little worried for a second there because you said 20. I thought you were gonna be 20 some odd years. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yes, 20 aeons ago. No. It's just more we had that friendship, and I had that friendship with Peony, and then world life happened, and falling off and whatnot, and just kind of came back. Yeah.
I'll say you came back and then some with a full fucking fury more than anything else, and seeing how much you like both of you have embraced the VTubing community and how much they have embraced you, and like I imagine especially with some
I was touching butts, they were touching butts, we were touching each other's butts. It was a butt touch-a-thon. It was a glorious moment. We had a little summoning circle of butt touching that it was just like, ah yes, grasp one cheek in one hand, the other in the other hand, and we must pray to God above for our VTubing careers.
I now have stiff competition for the Twitter clip. No. What was I gonna say? Like, I imagine, especially since you've really gone all in when it comes to VTubing and streaming as a whole, I can only imagine how much it's really like changed your life more or less for the better, hopefully.
Oh yeah, I mean the thing about change is that it's always going to have its downsides, and that's like something that you just I was not prepared for the downsides
Right.
at all. But you know I am working through them now. But yeah, I've been on this wild roller coaster of like so many new things and so many things I didn't even know about myself until like quite literally these past 3 months. Like aspects of myself that have been so long dead, buried so far underneath that like I said earlier, that if people from before saw me now, they would not know that it was the same person. Like yeah, there is still me underneath, but like the things that I do, the things that I say are just different.
Yeah.
Little extra spice.
I mean, no one said different had to be a bad thing, though. Like, just the VTubing community as a whole, like, especially, like I said, you know, you said you're working through your issues right now, but, like, it certainly doesn't help the group of friends you've more or less made along the way, especially the ones like, you know, we've already established Peony and Melvin beforehand, Jay Dockleton, Grandpa, I know he's, you know, like, basically being some of your biggest fans or whatnot. Like, it must amaze you the fact that you've been able to make such incredible friends throughout.
Honestly, sometimes it hits me, and sometimes it's like, yeah, this has always been. Yeah. There's no before. It's always been this way. Like, what is a before, Cap?
it's like sometimes it's like, oh, this is, you know, it's incredible that I get to do some of this, and then there's other times where it's just like the normal voice cough.
God damn it. Stop.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
I mean, especially like if I'm tired and like I'm just chilling among peers and like I'm just like, yes, I must draw.
And once again, going back to my original point, I know since you've also like decided to go just full time with this streaming thing and make it a career, I know it must be like amazing. I know your first day alone was quite a fucking ride.
Oh Jesus Christ! Oh my God! My ass is still recovering from that one. Like yeah.
For those who don't know or are unaware, your first day streaming, you had one person alone gift, what was it, 260 gifted subs to your stream.
So to put brag, I couldn't even call it a brag. It's more like a shock. Like I'm just like divulging information because I can't. At one point, I had basically half my following in subs.
Jesus.
And I like literally, I'm still picking my ass up from the ground, like, excuse me, can't and that's just in subs. Like when it came down to bits, I was like,
oh my God, I didn't even think about the bits.
Yeah, so I can't fathom large quantities of numbers, and you know me, you know, being on the poor levels, you know, because miracle, like anything with a comma makes me want to physically gag.
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
like there's like a clip of me like actually like about ready to throw up, like you can hear it coming. I'm like, stop, please.
It's time to stop.
Throw up. and what the thing, this is where the downside comes with streaming. When you get this kind of hype, it can make or break a person, right. Straight up. Like it can either propel them to keep doing what they love, or they overdo it and become somebody that they're not, or
God damn. I hear you. I hear you. There you go. Okay. Okay.
Well, I'm glad you heard me now, because I was screaming how much I was gonna fuck the box.
Melvin isn't here.
God fucking damn it.
Anyways, what I was going to say before you interjected that and we had that funny little moment is, trust me, this is not the most scuffed interview I would have ever had to like edit or whatnot. I think I've told this before on the podcast, but episode 13, I had a guest that I had always wanted to talk to. Have you ever heard the show Class 3000?
By title, but memory does not bring up any images.
That is fair. It is not very well loved and remembered. Well, I'm not gonna say well loved, but it's not very well remembered in history compared to shows around that time, like Chowder, Flapjack, all that stuff. Like, it was around that same Cartoon Network era.
Got it.
But I was able to talk to the guy who directed the entirety of that series, which was only like 2 seasons, but still, like, I got to talk to someone that directed a Cartoon Network show, which fucking blew my mind.
Yes.
That interview was so scuffed because it was me with my friends. We all brought our microphones. The guy was using his phone, so we were getting that feedback, and also, like, I also didn't realize, 3 microphones going at the same time probably isn't a good idea. So trying to edit around that was a fucking nightmare. But anyways, you were saying you were saying before we really divulge into that little bit of gremlinism, you were saying that when it comes to like something like that happening with a stream, it could either make someone, or it could really, like, they could really take on the challenge and run with it. They could break down because of it, or
so they can either like rise up and be able to be who they are and continue on and get that growth regardless of that huge attention. The attention is the boost, but as long as you can still move forward for yourself, great. But some people can also take that attention and break down for it because it's just way too much and too overwhelming. And there's also the people that don't become themselves, but become what they can get, essentially.
I know exactly what you're talking about. The people that kind of like,
yeah,
you give them an inch and they're gonna try to take as much of a mile as they can when it comes to the attention.
They become what the attention can give them instead of becoming who they could be.
Well, if I do say so myself, I think you fit more or less perfectly in that very first category of you been able to, like, whether or not you had that huge day when you were first streaming or whatnot, you've just continued to be yourself, and that is what people love and cannot get enough of.
I appreciate that. If only my fucking internet could agree with that. I have been streaming quite a while, and I want to be free.
Well, you see, here's the thing. The internet is going to look at you and be like, oh, you're doing this as a dedicated craft. You absolutely love it and you want to do more with it. Haha, fuck you.
Yep, pretty much. Like, the past couple of streams, like, recently, and then I'm saying that, on, I don't know if we can discuss dates, but, like, early April. As of early April, haven't been the best. They have not been the best. I've been having stream crashes constantly to the point where I cannot be consistent enough, and it's been hurting me a little bit. It's been hurting.
I mean, that's fair, but even then, like, with what bullshit that there is out there, you've still been able to power through and try to keep going as best, keep on keeping on as best as you can. And I mean, you've done a good job so far. You've dealt with a lot worse shit than faulty internet, so what's stopping that?
Oh boy, have I! They want me to become the bloodlust captain, but no, I'm holding on strong. I only just want your shins and your Nico kneecaps.
God, I fucking love your energy.
I require a sacrifice.
Moving on. When you think of like all the streaming that you've done so far, some of the interactions, do you personally have like a personal favorite moment or stream that you can think of that is like a highlight for you personally? Like you think back and you're like, that is one of the best things to ever happen while I've been streaming or whatnot.
I would like, okay, so thinking about wild energy, I would like to say it was one of the streams where I had Torakai, who is amazing.
Agreed.
And Melvin ZRD. And they were both on stream and they were both using their soundboards creating absolute fucking chaos. Like I think this has happened to be the beginning of me being friends with Torakai and like pulled him on and like they were just it was just moan bark fart just causing it and then just me going I was losing my shit because it just felt like I would had both of them on either side of me just fucking causing chaos and like anytime there was like a soft moment I'd be like Torakai deploy and then like continued it on again. I enjoyed it. It was that moment and the moment when my dearly departed peer overlay, which, you know, rest in peace. Mm-hmm. It lives on in the sky. I don't have it anymore. Where I was drowning Melvin's character into the ocean.
Not the electro. I like you say you were drowning Melvin in the ocean, but honestly, I think that's a lot more dangerous for the the fish in the sea. Like if you were not careful, like you would. Well, actually, I'm surprised you haven't deployed that more often because you know you need some food on the high seas. You just shock a few fish.
Exactly. Call it fast food. You know, give me that fry fish fillet. You know. I'm looking for a fish taco, and it was just the closest and fastest I could get to one, you know? Like, you know, just drown the boy.
There is no Long John Silver's within at least a good 100 miles, all right? We have to work with what we're given.
Damn it! Boo!
CapnInsanity, meet Captain D's.
Why did I think you were gonna be D's nuts? but no, it was I was drowning him and he switched to a PNG of him holding a gun and then it was just me screaming, he's got a gun! And there's a clip of that. It's great.
Don't just love when other VTubers are very resourceful with how they present stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, it was magic. I love that. The role playing aspect on the stream, I think, adds that extra flair, that extra oomph, that interactivity, that like just keeping things like stagnant for art. Yeah, that's cool, but like actually interacting with people via character, extra spice. Yes, more please.
Absolutely. I mean, it certainly doesn't hurt whenever you got like some of the most incredible like models out there and the incredible like people personalities or whatnot, and you're also there being, in my opinion, one of the more like coolest examples of both being an incredible person and a gorgeous fucking model. I mean,
because my titties are peeking out of me.
that is a positive, but that is not a definitive piece. That is not a definitive.
A little cheeky window, yeah, just a little.
Again, that is a positive, but it is not a definitive piece. I'm just talking about more or less like the details that you've put into it, from something as simple as like, you know, making the face have that semi-realism that you're talking about, to like the things that are along your belt, like the compass or whatnot. Like every little detail of your model is absolutely stunning.
I know. Maybe we're gonna round two this electric boogaloo, and we're gonna make it even more poppin'.
Oh,
we're gonna make it more sass. We're gonna do it our all. We're gonna put some plans into place. We're gonna make us sparkle, shiny. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be the finest piece of ass treasure you ever gonna see.
I'll say, are you going to be providing a wider window next time? Or no, I'm joking.
Oh, yeah, you know, 2.0. Gotta make them bigger and better. But no, I kind of like them the way they are. They're kind of transformative, you know? You can flatten them down, I can perk them up, I can do a little shimmy and make a dance.
Goodness. No, but thinking back with what you've been able to accomplish so far when it comes to, both art and VTubing or whatnot, does it ever kind of more or less blow your mind that you've gotten to this point? Like, you have to step back and be like, holy shit, how did I get here?
Yeah. It's been a fever dream sometimes. Like you get so absorbed into your character, and this is where it could lead dangerous, where if you do not have that awareness, like you could fall into that, oh no, you are that character, and it could be dangerous at times, especially when it comes to IRL stuff. You could fall off the bus and neglect the duties and stuff that you have going on, which I would have to say it did kind of get that way, but where I was neglecting IRL things too, because this was just like such a feel good,
Mm-hmm.
I freezed my character a little bit. There we go. All right, but as I was saying, because it feels so good, to be heard, to be appreciated, to basically become what you wanted to be. And I guess that rings true for a lot of people who say struggle with how they are IRL. But yeah, like the stuff, back to the art part of it, my art has grown so tremendously because of that, the interactivity, because of the idea, back and forth, because of the genuine friendships and whatnot. It's just like an endless pool of creativity because you are enjoying it, and that enjoyment is what literally skyrocketed that growth.
That is beautifully worded, if I do say so myself. I mean, it's a good mentality to have when it comes to this kind of stuff, like just realizing just how insane of a growth you have when it comes to all of this stuff. So, yeah.
Even with my current relationship development, I saw a huge spike in my art growth, like just in this past like 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, holy shit, I drew that. I did that with the digitals. What the fuck?
Isn't that how most art is? People create something, they're like, holy fuck, I drew that.
Yeah, and then when you go to Twitter, you kind of feel bad that you're like, here, look at it, and I'm so hyper on the fact that I fucking drew this, and I'm hyper to the fact that I'm so proud of myself. You get no choice. I am going to make you look at this. Look at it.
Look
what I did.
Look at it. Look at it. I want all of you to look at it.
God damn it.
I have SpongeBob quote for days. Thank you very much.
I appreciate that. We love a good SpongeBob quote.
Finland. Anyways, no, but like it's I had it. No, I was gonna say that is not hyperness, and you should not be feeling that is, like you were saying, you were proud of that, you created that, you took the time and effort putting yourself, love, emotion, passion, blood, sweat, tears, who knows whose blood it is, but we'll focus on that later. But
I mean I'm hungry.
But the fact that you dedicate yourself to something that looks absolutely outstanding, like, you should be proud of it at the end of the day. So.
Yeah, and that is the ugly. It is the ugly side of artists, is that at one point or another, an artist would be told either to like, hey, shut up, we don't care, or hey, that looks gross, or some sort of small insecure comment that kind of stuck with them and makes them so that like they don't want to share, or they're too scared to share, or they don't feel like they should accept compliments because it's gonna make them feel like they're gonna get a big head, and once again repeat the process of that one minute moment where it was just like a bad interaction. And it is sad. It's sad, and people should be celebrating their accomplishments a little bit more.
Exactly, they really should be. If nothing else, this podcast is an extension of people that should be celebrated and their art should be celebrated. That's why I wanted to have you on, because your art should definitely be celebrated. So, but speaking of art that they create and art that they'd love to create, more or less, I want to go into more or less the dream scenario for this next question. Yes, let's say I am Big Shot Mr. Moneybags. I come up to you, I'm like, look, Captain, first off, put down the fire for just 2 seconds. We want to talk.
No!
2 seconds!
Mine!
2
Fuck
seconds!
you!
2 seconds!
No! No!
2 seconds.
Okay, fine.
But we know that whenever you're not focusing on burning everything down, you can create some incredible stuff. You can do some absolutely amazing, gorgeous stuff. And we want to help make sure that you have the opportunity to do that. We have connections to anyone and everyone in any sort of entertainment art industry. And more money than this should be possible. Stay away. You don't have to swashbuckle us for it. We're just going to give it to you. It's a lot easier that way. If given this opportunity, what would be the dream CapnInsanity project?
Okay, so... it's not gonna change much from the OG dream. It's just gonna be. I want my own fucking boat, man.
There you
I want
go.
a boat. I want an IRL boat. I don't care if I'm actually on the water. I don't care if I'm docked for these streams. I want a boat. I want a boat. I want wood. I want sails. I want rope. I want Jay to be my sea dad and teach me. I want the whole thing rigged out with cameras so that we can switch scenes. We can have a whole interactive. I want to mix real life with 2D life. I want that fucking Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Let's combine the elements glory. That's what I want. I want
That's a
to
gorgeous
be able. Yeah, I want my character to be interacting with IRL parts of my fucking boat. I want some like real ambience. I want my arts. I want to be able to be triggered by channel redeems where people be like, fuck, I want to go to Horny Jam. Fuck, let's go down south. Let's go here. Let's go up. Let's go everywhere. And then we just have a fucking good ass time, you know? I want something like that.
I was gonna say have like a
Roger Rabbit dream.
I was gonna say have like a channel redeem that's like 100,000 points or whatnot. Fire the cannon.
Yeah, that'd be legit. Like actually fire, even if it's just a little bitty tiny cannon, even if it's just a cartoon cannon, like or, quite literally, like it's on the side of the boat and it's like full animated fucking cartoon style.
That is true.
You know, that'd be fucking legit.
Isn't there also like the legit like tiny ones or whatnot that blow up like a BB pod or whatnot? Like it's nothing else like you fire the cannon.
Yeah. And you know what? To be honest, I want to bring some of that kind of role play things, like because you know, I have this writing desk that I've been accumulating so many like trinkets and items that I want to start doing something kind of like that. I want to bring painting and basically my own little tiny what I can do with what I have right now. Little fun time, you know. I have like a little treasure chest. I have like all these coins. I have some calligraphy stuff.
It's like you got the whole entire thing ready to go, don't you? Or at least starting to get some stuff together, huh?
Yeah, hold on. I think I will send you a photo reference of it, what it looked like before things kind of went down here. I send that to you right now as soon as the internet is blessing me. Please bless me. I bless you. You bless me. Oh, hallelujah! I sent it.
I was gonna say, do we need a butt touching ceremony to make sure the internet works well? I mean,
hands to cheeks. We must do the ritual butt touch.
Anyways, but
yeah, that's what it looks like.
Let me look on the phone because I don't want to back out. It's editing. It's recording stuff.
Yeah.
Come on. Oh, come on. I'll see it in a little bit. I'll be sure to. If nothing else, if you're cool with it, I might include it as a visual for the video podcast. If you're cool with it.
Yeah, awesome. I'll zoom in, and I'll give you a little zoom in as well. All right. Okay.
Anyways, but sadly, we gotta get down from the dream scenario. We gotta get back to reality. I know, it's horrible. I wish we could stay there forever. Jesus Christ, I need to be in there for a little bit longer. But we'll get down from the dream scenario, and I'll ask the ever so generic question. Where do you hope to see yourself 5 to 10 years from now?
Oh, in 5 to 10 years, not living here. Hopefully another country.
That's a good start.
That's a very good start. But, it'd be really interesting to do IRL collabs, like a whole backpack adventure where I just meet homie to homie, friendo to friendo, and have this little travel soiree of collab bonanza, where I get a little bit of traveling, a little bit of collaboration, and it's play and work together, and I get to experience the whole 9 yards, because the downside of the internet is that your friends are not in the same location,
right?
But you do have, if you could have the opportunity to basically just experience where they do things. I don't know, I kind of lost trail of thought. But to be able to just do collaborations in the IRL to meet the people, those that actually want to meet, because identity is important.
Yep.
Privacy is definitely important. And that has to be respected. If somebody wants to do that, then they should be allowed to do that. And if they don't want to do that, then they also should be allowed not to do that. And that's some of the discourse I've been seeing lately. And it's dude, just vibe.
Yep, just vibe.
Yeah.
It's a good goal to aspire to more than anything. Is have that IRL shoot. And if you make your way down to Georgia, you better let my ass know. All right.
Hey, I got some fam in Florida. Maybe I should just do a little trip down.
I'll say, fuck, let me know, because I also got some fam down in Florida around the Orlando area. So it's fuck it, just make some shit happen.
Fucking, I love making some shit, but like I said, that's 5-10 years,
Yeah, exactly.
That's where I want to be.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, right?
We'll do an IRL podcast round 2.
If you're down for it, I am more than happy to be down for that kind of insanity. I've been wanting to do an IRL podcast at some point in the near future. Especially the fact that I'm slowly starting to develop a following. I'm also thinking there are a way to help me out with that would be podcast networks, and I just got out of one that was really cool. I love the Apocalypse Podcast Network, and I still listen to the podcasts that are in it or whatnot. But there's one that's actually close to where I am, and I'm thinking if I'm gonna do an IRL podcast, maybe getting the hookup with them might make something like that a reality. Just throwing it out there.
Excited for you.
I need to make this more of a reality than just a random thought in the air. But less about me. This podcast is about you right now. And with that,
I am the host now. So, Post, what do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
I would say, you know what? As a pirate, I should have expected you to hijack stuff sooner.
I'm mutiny! I am taking over! This is now my podcast. Hello, my name is CapnInsanity. I have now taken over the Postmodern podcast. Postmodern podcast! It's mine now! You have no choice! So, Post, how is it? Mr. Moneybags, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
I'm glad you asked that question. I'll be more than happy to answer it. Thank you very much. Okay, 5 to 10 years, I would love to see more or less the influence of this podcast really be reached out in one aspect for another. I'd love to know that whatever I'm presenting out there is truly connecting with people and inspiring people. I would love, as I know this is more dreaming at this point, but I would love to be able to make some sort of income off of this postmodern avenue, more or less. To be able to get some fundings from sponsors or maybe through the Twitch stream or whatnot, and be able to give that back to the community to help other artists grow in one aspect for another. Is there an artist over here that wants to do an animated film? Awesome, let me give you some money so you can hire some staff people, because I know you can do something incredible, you just need the manpower. You need some money for commissions? Here, let me pay you for a fucking incredible commission. Go crazy with it, have fun with it, or whatnot. You want to be able to make the music that you want? Fuck yeah! Here, go to the studio. Here's the funds for like a studio session for like a week. Go crazy with it, or whatnot. Like I want to be able in 5 to 10 years to have the ability to really have this truly be something impactful, like to the point to where like I can truly give back more than just, hey, here's a cool artist. I can truly give something to the artist and allow them to truly go forth and make that stuff,
Dude, finally! I got a whole speech out of it. Fuck yeah, I'm taking over this podcast more often. All right, yeah, I'm your co-host now. Hello. we're sharing dreams. Mm-hmm. May they be wet or not.
Ooh, is it getting hot in here again? Another thing I would love to see myself. This is probably something more in the 10-year spot or whatnot, but I would love like a physical place for the podcast, more or less, like a legit studio. Like, as much as I love my bedroom and I love the space that I've more or less created for it, I would love like a more professional place. Like a dream that I've thought about is like, instead of having like this wall or whatnot, like with the different art pieces I've gotten or whatnot, I'd love just like an LED screen to where like I can showcase like the different art that people have done, or like the different thumbnails that people have done for the podcast beforehand. Have that be like the visual going on behind me as I'm interviewing people.
That sounds hot. Honestly, that'd be great. Like kind of like how like local radio stations, like in my area, they actually have like a house, and like the top floor is where they live, and the bottom floor is like where all of their work is. That'd be fucking legit for you. That'd be so fucking legit.
I would say, or I don't even have to live at the place or whatnot. Just having like a dedicated studio area to where like I can truly go all in with this stuff. Like, that's a fucking dream and a half more than anything else.
Oh my god, that'd be so fucking hot. That'd be so great for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
I could, and like if people want to, like, depending on where it's located, I could actually like bring guests in to have more IRL conversations. Like, I'll probably still do like a whole lot of video calls, because especially with just how wide the world is when it comes to artists and how many different places all around the world or whatnot, I'll probably still have more video calls than IRL stuff. But having like an occasional IRL like podcast or whatnot, like physically talking to the person, not having like internet issues or something like that, like buffer it or whatnot, like I think it would be cool.
Honestly, not having internet issues, it sold me.
That wasn't not a direct shot at you, just saying.
It was a direct shot at me. What was me?
If it makes you feel any better, that was actually a little bit more directed towards me, because again, I've warned many guests beforehand. I've had so many fucking internet issues and Discord issues with this thing. It's not even funny.
Oh, the fucking gross. So gross. Very gross. How dare.
But
how dare. Okay, I relinquish the mutiny upon you. You may have your podcast back. Yes.
Thank you. I wanted to say in the first place, there was no quarrel. I was not initiating any quarrel whatsoever, all right?
No, it's legit. It's legit. You may have your podcast back, but
thank you for letting me have my podcast back. Why is there a scorched corner? Why is the corner on fire?
We don't talk about the corner. No. We don't talk about that corner. I may have tried to bake something.
What were you
it
baking?
Came alive. It gained sentience. I fixed it. It's gone. That's all we have to know about. All right, carry on.
The less I ask questions, the better I am. But I have, speaking of less questions, I have one last question that I want to ask you, if I may.
Yes.
As we start to wind down the interview, we've definitely divulged a lot into how much art has been a major part of your life. It's something that has been a part with you for as long as you can to help you get through life at this point. Whether it be something that, just gets you to day by day, or something that you've truly indulged into and made it like your life. How important is art, not just for you, but for the world as a whole?
Oh my god. To live is to art. Because you can't go art is basically human emotion. What is classified as good art, bad art is merely it's merely oh god, I'm trying not to rage because I'm about ready to start things on fire again. There's all these classifications of art. There's advertisement, there's quote unquote fine art, there's paintings, there's illustrations, there's doodles, there's webcomics, food, music, movies, photographs. As long as it generates a human emotional response, good or bad, it is still art. It is still art. But what people define as art is more or less what those finer categories are. And you see those in the discourse of like, oh, is digital art considered art? Yes, it's considered art because it is still a type of art. It's still drawn. It's still created. It's still being made, as well as like your culinary, like your movies and stuff like that. It's still generating a response. Even the fucking banana taped to the fucking wall. As much as people hate it, it's still being hated. It's still generating a human emotional response, and that is still art. Whether or not you accept it as art is based on a person by person situation.
Right.
And what is classified as good or bad art is merely on a commercial status, because and then I hate it when people say they don't do good art. Like, no, everybody does art. It's just that you're classifying good art as whether or not it can be profitable.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's what people are sometimes fail to realize.
But at the end,
art is art.
There you go. Art is art. That is wonderfully worded, if I do say so myself. That is all that's all the questions I have for you, Capn. I have already showered you with a whole bunch of praise, but I'm gonna shower you with a little bit more because it's my podcast. I do whatever the fuck I want. I know I've already done this before, but I cannot thank you enough for being here and talking about kind of your art and just really going all in with this kind of stuff. Truly, like, I cannot tell you how much I have been blown away and amazed with the art that you produce, whether it's something that is as complex as that gorgeous cave painting that you did, or something as simple as goofy as you and Melvin, kissy face or something like that. Like, I love just about everything that you've been able to push out, and I know that there's a lot of love and passion and genuine, like, imagination more than anything else that really goes to each and every single one of the pieces, and you find a good way to translate that and really make it like visually stunning. Like I said a million times before, I cannot get enough of your art. Every time you post something new, I cannot look away from it. And hearing your story as well, getting able to talk to you, getting to know you, especially within the past couple months or whatnot, I truly feel honored to know you, and truly feel wonderful to know that there is an incredible artist in my presence. So thank you for what you do, and keep up the incredible work.
It's gonna make me cry.
Good, cry.
Oi! Out there! That's it! Burning the whole stage!
No! Wait!
No! I'm burning it!
Wait! Before you burn it.
Go on.
Go ahead and plug yourself for the people at home if they don't already follow you already.
Hi, my name is CapnInsanity. I am your insanity captain today. I have so many energy levels that you could never find me the same twice. But apparently, I am a gremlin. You can find me chill. You can find me hyper. You can find me crazy. You can find me any way, shape, and form. But otherwise, I am me. But you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/CapnInsanity. Oh my God, Lord Jesus, take the wheel. Okay, it is CapnInsanity, and that is spelled CapnInsanity. You can also find me on Twitter. There's an underscore in between those two words. And you can also find me on Instagram. Don't go there. That is a dead channel.
And if you've missed any links, I'll be sure to put them in the description below. Do you have any final words before we sign off?
So, my final words is that I do really think that what you said earlier about your own goals years in the future is definitely taking shape right here and now, because what you said about how you wanted to give that space to uplift people and whatnot, is true to its form, because like we said, this is our second time trying to do this, and when we last tried to do this, I felt so encouraged to keep going. Like, I felt like really that I can keep going, and it's like it's the most fantastic thing ever, and you definitely give that space to do that. And like, albeit that I don't interact with you like constantly, like, but I do see you around. I do see you in like stream preview thumbnails and whatnot, of your character, and like look at him go. He's making connections and stuff like that, and really doing what he wanted to do. And I just want to think that maybe you should also get that spotlight, as well as thank you for opening this space for people. Because it's definitely a fucking wild trip, and it's fantastic.
I really do. I'm genuinely touched. Thank you for the kind words. It's just what I'm just doing what I'm just doing what I think is right more than anything else, because I think you can certainly attest when it comes to like artists in this space or whatnot. Like, people pour their souls out into this stuff, and like 90% of the time, like, people don't even really acknowledge it, or they love the art piece but they don't really think much about the artist behind it. And that's just what I want to make sure that people truly understand, that the people that are creating this content for them, the people that are truly being the most vulnerable that they can online, like, they're human beings, and incredible human beings at that, and they deserve as much love as the artwork that they are creating. That is something that I've done with every single artist that has come on this podcast, and that is certainly an extension to you as well, because I know that there is a lot that goes into your art, and I wanted to make sure that you understood that it is loved and it is appreciated.
And it's fantastic. And honestly, I can't wait for those years in the future where I can just like kick down your door and actually throw a Molotov,
Not the
like,
Molotov!
I'm gonna get the Molotov!
Can you at least be like resourceful and make it look like an accident so I can somehow escape and get the insurance off of it?
Wait, you're gonna escape? That wasn't part of the plan. I wanted to just throw it.
To the people at home, all I have to say is hasta luego, mi amigos.
Bye!
Tell me what's wrong, tell me it's parts in motion. Sing me a song, tell me your eyes can't go open. Show me it all, pick me up in the car you drove when you used to call. Show me it all.
Phew. Finally got to the end of the episode, huh? Nah, I'm joking. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, thank you so much for taking the time to listen. I greatly do appreciate it. And Capn, if you're listening up to this point, thank you once again for taking the time to do this. Your art is outstanding. Your energy is a lot. Like, it can recharge just about anyone if you're just standing around you for like 5 seconds. I hope everything that's going on will get figured out soon enough, and you'll be able to keep enjoying life to the fullest, because you deserve it and then some. See, I want to say that when it comes to friends that I've made recently, especially when it comes to Capn, because we're all part of, we talked about this in the podcast, but we're all part of this group with, Samuel Higgins' grandpa. It's incredible. It's incredible the people that I've been able to meet along this journey. It's been incredible the people I've gotten to know, especially since, divulging into this aspect with the virtual tubing. I can think of a lot of people that I've had on this podcast, or I've not had on the podcast yet, that are doing some incredible stuff, just being some of the most entertaining people out there. Right off the top of my head, I'm thinking, Jay Dockleton, Torakai, Esme, Rocco, Jet, Sasha, Patch, Roshan. Like, I could go through like an entire list of just incredible people there doing some incredible stuff. Oh, Noelle, can't forget her. But yeah, no, I'm just like in general, just like there are way too many people to list, and there are some incredible people, some of which I'm hoping to have on the podcast. I don't want to like front load you guys with like 20 VTubers in a row, because the one thing that I pride myself on when it comes to this podcast is introducing you to a variety of different artists. So while you might see, virtual VTubers, once every like couple weeks, maybe like once a month or something like that, I want to make sure that there is a good variety of artists out there from all different walks of life, even the walks of life that you might not consider art in the first place. One of my favorite episodes to record, or I should say my mom's absolute favorite episode, is the wrestling episode that I did with Edith Surreal. And she's not a wrestling fan, I want to note. But if wrestling could be considered an art form, like, I want to have more wrestlers come on this podcast. I want to have photographers come on this podcast. I want to have parts of art that I never even considered, like different kinds of artists, to come on the podcast and talk. Puppeteers, architects, video game designers, all sorts of different kinds of artists on this podcast. I want a good variety. Capn is a great example of that, because on top of being the VTuber, she is an outstanding artist, both digitally and with like real life paint and such. You saw some of the examples if you watched the video version. They're phenomenal. You guys deserve a good variety of artists. That's something that I've always prided myself on. So while you will get a good chunk of VTubers, because I love that community with a burning passion at this point, just remember that there will always be amazing artists coming on this podcast, and I hope you guys enjoy each and every single one, because I certainly enjoyed the conversations I have with them, and Capn's was no exception to that rule. In fact, me talking about this will lead to the little bit of motivation I'll leave you guys before I sign off for today. No matter what form of art you do, no matter if people debate whether or not it is a form of art, if you consider it a form of art, if you are able to put yourself fully into it and truly express yourself and truly showcase the true you through that art form, whatever that art form may be, just do it. Just go for it. Go all in with it. Showcase that love and passion you have for it, because whatever you create at the end, people will recognize the true authentic you that you were pushing out there, and people truly do need to see that, because you are absolutely amazing, and everyone deserves to recognize that you are amazing. Keep up the incredible work. Do incredible work. Go out there and create something amazing, people. Have a good day, week, month, year, morning, evening, night, whatever it may be for you guys. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Have a wonderful one.